Hello, what's good, everybody? J-Ping here checking in, respectmyregion.com. Here today on episode 1 of the Better Budtenders podcast. I've got a special guest today representing Kansas City Cannabis, a dispensary in Missouri. They've got 4 stores. We've got my man Tim Grimes in the building. Tim, what's going on, man? How are you living?
I'm good, man. Good. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited. This is awesome to be part of.
Man, thank you for being here with us. Now, everybody, for those of you that don't know, a budtender is someone who works in a cannabis dispensary and they sell weed to customers. It's a retail job through and through. Tim, you've been doing it for 6 months. My first question to you before I get to the rest of the list of questions is, can you just introduce yourself, who you are and what you've been up to for the last 6 months to a year? Because you've been in cannabis for 6 months or so, budtending. What were you doing before? What you've been up to lately?
Yeah, so I've got we'll start with six months to a year. Definitely got a story for that. But yeah, I was actually working at a cannabis lab. I was basically just a driver. I would go and pick up the samples that needed to be tested before they hit dispensaries. I got really lucky, actually. I was working for the man, solar sales, and just literally one day while in the middle of a sale with my friend, decided to walk away from that job. Too corporate for me. A lot of stuff that I just didn't sit right with me as far as the way they treated customers and stuff. And it just, yeah. So quit that job and had posted that I, was looking for something, and a friend said that her friend just posted about looking for somebody to help at their cannabis lab. So I went and worked for them for about a month, but unfortunately had to take a little bit of time off. Basically had a really bad panic attack and mental breakdown, and just had to take some time off to get my head on straight. So I took about 4 months and had mentioned that I was still looking for a job in the cannabis industry. And I had my eyes on being a budtender. Felt like that was kind of up my alley as far as, working with people. I had always had retail jobs and sales jobs. And I just felt like that was kind of something that I would be good at. One of the things I really wanted to do in working in the cannabis industry was just help break the stigma. And because I was kind of one of those people that I wasn't necessarily against cannabis, but I had an ancient view on it for sure, and wasn't really, I was a drinker, to be honest, and I was just always like, oh, I don't need weed, and kind of bought into some of that propaganda. But
it's easy when you're engulfed in that culture, and instead of you hearing all the time, weed, or it's good, it can do this, it can do that, it helped me do this, it helped me do that. You're hearing, I grew up in Indiana and in Texas. We're hearing, hey, let's go to the bars. Like, oh, it's Thursday, we got to go to the bars. Let's go. It's a whole different mindset to be, in a drinking culture in a state where drinking is more, I would say, friendly, alcohol friendly, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair. And yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And I was around it, I definitely knew people that smoked. I was never really against it. I was never that, much of a buzzkill, but I just never really was around it much. But yeah, so that was kind of one of the things I wanted to help people with, was just kind of get introduced to cannabis. And I had been to a couple of dispensaries in Colorado and California a few years back, and always had awesome customer service. The people were super friendly and helpful. I didn't know what I was doing, and honestly, it was just kind of one of those things where I want to be that for somebody, help them kind of get introduced to it, make them feel comfortable with it, and just kind of help spread the word on my end too. Just, hey, yeah, I'm working in the cannabis industry. That always raises a lot of questions, and I think my goal of trying to destigmatize cannabis is starting to pay off. I have a lot of people asking me how to get their cards and stuff since I've been working there. But
hell yeah, you become a recognizable figure in the community when you actually invest into helping other people. I think that's something that I can attest to is, I left Microsoft and I started as a budtender, 15, 16 an hour. And in Seattle, and just to really be able to work your way up and help people, I don't know how many customers you see a day, but 50 a day adds up when you got 4 or 5 shifts a week. That's 2, 3, 400, 500 people a month that you're really legitimately talking to, conversing with, giving knowledge to, if you have knowledge to share. And so that kind of leads me to my first question. We actually have prepared a number of high-level questions just to help you share your thoughts, your opinion, your experiences as a budtender, as a customer, as a consumer in the space, as an industry professional. And then, as I mentioned off camera, we have 3 trivia questions for you today. So first question, and there's no right or wrong answers on this. Again, these are all just opinion-based. We want to hear your perspectives. We know the answer to this, but I need to hear yours. Does THC matter? I need to hear your thoughts.
Yes, but not as much as people think.
Okay, walk me through that. So again, we know the answers to this. Help me and other people understand why THC doesn't matter as much as people think it should.
Because it's all about the terpenes. By the way, this is my kitty.
There we go. Meow, meow, meow.
The terpenes, and I was one of those people. Again, I as I learn about cannabis, I love to help other people because, I thought just like alcohol, the higher the percentage of THC, the stronger the more effects you'll get or whatever. And now terpenes. So, I still think there is. I have a lot of people that I've tried to steer to certain things to help with pain, and I've people say, no, you know what, the ones that really help are the higher THC percentages. So
for pain specifically, for sure.
Yeah. So that's where I say, that's where it matters. But overall, I think it's more about the terpenes is what I would say.
Most definitely. And I have to agree. THC times terpenes equals a great experience. Give me a high potency weed like what I'm smoking now. I've got a runts and a wedding cake. So you got the high THC wedding cake for the potency, and I've got runts for the terpenes, right? And creates a delicious flavor profile, gets rid of the pain, gets rid of the flexibility issues and stiffness from driving all day. There's a lot of great things that these strains can really provide. Now, in terms of yourself, I'm interested in learning a little bit more about some of the most popular products that are available at Kansas City Cannabis.
So we've got, that's the fun part about working there is like every week, it seems like we get something new in, because, there are so many companies that are still getting their licenses and getting started. But we sell a lot of everything. Like we've got flour, we've got edibles, and we've got concentrates. And, it's really interesting to see some of the, you kind of always want to, or at least, I don't know. I kind of always guess like, oh, I wonder what, this person, a flower smoker, edibles. And there are a lot of people that'll come in and get their concentrates that are like older people that I never would have thought are doing dabs at home.
Yeah. Isn't that always funny how that works too? It's like that's the one that like Nancy on Yancey Street was the lady that used to sell me weed in Seattle, right? When I first started smoking weed. That woman could have smoked a QP to the face. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, but we never think, we always equate like, the little women who smoke weed or whatever. We're always so surprised when they end up being big fucking dabbers. But like, little do I know, they could smoke me under the table half the time. You know what I mean? They're smoking freaking grabba leaves that are just fucking massive, logs, right. These blunts, crazy. So you guys at the store, you guys obviously sell a bunch of different types of stuff. You mentioned flour, edibles, concentrates. If you wouldn't mind sharing, what are some of the most popular brands in each of those categories that you guys have so far?
I would say Flora Farms is probably our most popular flower. They ton of strains, and their price point is kind of right where it should be. It's not overpriced, it's not underpriced. It's definitely budget friendly. There's a company called Clover that makes different brands of edibles, and all of theirs are popular. Robots, and then Concentrates. Probably there's a company called Proper that also makes flour. They're one of my favorites. Their flour is top shelf. Same with their concentrates, but they move pretty well. But the
What are some of
concentrate,
these popular strains that you're noticing from these flower groups? Like what for you? It's like, okay, so what separates Proper from a cultivation standpoint or a quality standpoint, or even genetics? Is there something different about them that you really enjoy that other people you think really like?
when it comes to THC, their stuff's always higher. They
Okay.
average at least probably 5% more than everybody else just on their
Wow.
yeah, their mid stuff is about 25%, and up from there. But I don't know, I feel like they just take such good care of it.
Okay.
I got
A
to
good
actually,
cure and dry and the whole everything, all of it.
yeah, they do it. They even put them in all black glass. Their logo and stuff is slick. Like, it's just a really well done operation, I guess. But yeah, there's just, when you smoke theirs, you're getting something. It's I don't know. It's just one of those where I was like, it can't be that. Come on. I don't know if I want to spend that much more on it. And then tried some, and yeah. But that's not to say that's all I smoke. I mean, and all of the how do I don't want to be mean, but the nice thing about the Missouri market is that it's only going to get better.
Correct. It's in an infancy stage. There's not that many cultivators with product. Number one, that's a fact. Number two,
Sure.
there's not that many that are focusing on just indoor versus outdoor or greenhouse or this and that. There's just any type of weed, any way you can cultivate it. There's not a lot of those types of people in Missouri just yet. It's not like where you're in
Right.
NorCal, you got shit tons of outdoor growers, or Southern Oregon, shit ton of this, or in Washington, indoor. Like it's not the same like that yet. You guys haven't had years to establish licenses and all that stuff at the quantity that Oklahoma has, or the quantity that Oregon has, which is thousands, right? Thousands and
Right.
thousands of dispensaries.
Yeah. 100%.
It's still new.
And that's kind of one thing I didn't realize how good the weed I was getting on the streets was until I was smoking some of the stuff that's out there. And I feel so bad saying that.
No, that's
But
pretty standard. It's standard in this world, brother. You got, when we were in, it doesn't matter what state you go in right now, the weed is cheaper in the traditional market from a quality standpoint. You can get better weed for $25 and $35 rates than you can in dispensary almost everywhere.
yeah, that the prices for sure. And that's, the prices will go down. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's definitely interesting to kind of be on both sides of it, on the, legitimate side. But that's what's fun though. I mean, it's like I said, it's only going to get better. And it's fun just to see new stuff come out, see new companies, come on board.
I got a two-part question for this one. This one's you ready? What's the most popular strains that you've been dealing with as of late? Like, what are people like coming in asking for? First thing that comes to mind right away.
Bubba Fett.
Bubba Fett. Bubba
Yep.
Kush. Do you know what the crosses are?
Yeah. Well, you already gave me Bubba Kush.
Bubba Kush.
No, I don't remember the other one now.
Either way, I would buy it just based on Bubba Fett being so trendy. I would try that for sure.
It's also like 32%. So if you are a THC chaser, there you go.
Crosses off that one. Okay,
now,
so that
I wish I knew. Now I feel like an idiot. But Original Glue, GG4, Gorilla Glue.
Yep.
That's
Mando on that one. That's for sure. That's a mandatory one. That glue's going to be popular for forever. It entered the Blue Dream echelon, the Grape Apes, the GDP echelon. It's a legendary classic strain now. Now for you walk into a dispensary. What's the first strain that's going to catch your eye every time?
I feel like when I go to a dispensary or if I'm shopping at a dispensary, it's so weird because the dispensaries that I've been to outside of Missouri are so different. So I'm going to start looking for just unique, whether it's, what are, now I can't think of the Moon Rocks joints, right? Is that what they're,
Yeah, like the caviar golds and things like that.
yeah, something like that. Or just whatever infused stuff. I would definitely take a look at the
Interesting.
manufactured products and see, because
So he said, so not a strain. You're looking at unique, original, most likely infused products.
yeah, something that we wouldn't like, definitely an infused product or just a pre-roll, wrapped in keef, and we're not doing any of that right now. So that would
Interesting.
be cool. But as far as a specific strain, I would leave that up to the budtender and say,
Mm.
what's a good one that I need to have while I'm here, or
I
one of
like
your.
that answer. That's the way I smoke too. I like that because it gets to a point where, like, even for me, my answer when I think about asking that question is literally it's two parts. It's gelato and OG. I'm gonna say gelato first and OG second, so I can check any areas gelato and see like, all right, what kind of exotics are we dealing with? And then from there I can go work my way back through some cookies and some OG Kushes and some of the other fun original. I like gassy strains. I like gas, straight up fruity gas, sweet gas, piney gas, diesely gas, all of them, right? So for you, at least when I was a budtender, I used to smoke so much. I would get as high as I possibly could before working at Microsoft, before working as a budtender. For you, what is your favorite? That was one of my favorite things is like you kind of had the excuse of being high. What is your favorite thing about working behind the counter? What's your favorite thing about budtending?
Honestly, as cheesy as it sounds, like having somebody changing somebody's mind or giving them something that helped with their pain or whatever symptom they were trying to treat. Um, like it's cool when somebody comes in and they're like, "Hey, yeah, that was a good suggestion. That worked. That's just what I needed it to do."
Yeah,
That's really why I got into it.
it's really
Uh,
rewarding.
yeah, I mean, because like I said, I was one of those guys. I was diagnosed with cancer a few years back, and that's what kind of turned me on to cannabis.
Wow.
So that's where I'm like, oh yeah, I want to get other people on board. And yeah, so I kind of went through a lot of that trial and error of just what works and what doesn't, and just helping people find what does work is cool. And just honestly, there's some older people that come in that are just so excited to be able to do it legally, and they're like, oh my god, like I never thought in my lifetime that I'd be able to walk into a dispensary and buy weed legally. Like I was in the 60s, and it's just kind of cool to hear the stories, and just be like a part of it now where
Yeah.
so it's such a new industry, and it was such a terrible thing for so long that now it's cool, and it's exciting. And yeah, so just getting other people excited about it and helping other people out is definitely the fun part of it.
I couldn't agree more. For me as well, I felt like that was some of the most rewarding stuff is like, damn, when you use your knowledge, your education, your experience, and now it can be used to actually be for good, you know. It goes from just, yeah, you're just going and getting high, or even if you're like not to say you're not, or you are a medical patient because of the cancer situation, right? But like even for me, if I wasn't sick for so many years, if I wasn't waking up nauseous and then throwing up, in classes and having to leave to go get burp up, nausea and shit, like would I have gotten into weed? I didn't really feel the need for it. I'm pretty social and good and fun and normal, but it did level me up on a lot of ways. The different strains, the different effects, the creativity, the ability to focus, the ability to slow things down sometimes, the ability for your brain to really, really analyze certain things and breaks it down. It's very interesting how some of these effects from cannabis can really, truly have impact on people's lives in various ways, whether it is something so severe or extreme as a cancer situation, or even for me, I look at my nausea as being something so small compared to a situation like that in the grand scheme of things. And this all leads me to my next point of the importance of education. Okay, so for you guys, and the context for this, everybody, is that in Washington as a bud tender, we used to have trainings every now and then. And then when I got to California, it was expected as a salesperson that you are supposed to come in, do a staff training and do it reoccurring and try to get them, as often as you can, at least once a quarter, if not more. So my question to you is, how do brands educate you guys on the products out there? In Missouri, you guys have 4 stores. I don't know if you work in more than one store, but at least for your location, how do brands educate you guys on their products?
Yeah, we have, and I don't know if it's I don't think it's just our company, but there is a like learnbrands.com, I think is just what it's called. And, bless you.
Thank you. That was a terp sneeze.
Yeah, there's a website that we use that I believe the companies will just upload information for us to be able to view. And because I just got an email yesterday, and yeah, so there's ongoing training that I think is sent to us from the cultivators and manufacturers and the companies themselves, and then we log in. We do that's monthly. But then we have had probably a few vendors come in and just, bring donuts and educate us on their new products and how things are done. But,
and that obviously has impact on your guys' ability to have the knowledge. When they bring in little things, they make it like a little pizza party. You guys, we huddle around together. We learn about the products. Ideally, you guys are able to get samples correct and go, try the products and whatnot.
Yeah. We've got ways that, through that Learn Brands site, once you complete that education, you can buy a sample for like $1 or something. But yeah, I mean, that's the fun part, because I'm still learning. That's why I struggled with a lot of those answers but there's,
you're wonderful.
Oh, thanks. I still feel like a noob, but yeah, that's the fun part, is there's always something new to learn. And yeah, we honestly, the drivers are the guys that I learn from the most. They'll come in and, once they're delivering the products, they're like, oh man, yeah, you got to try this one. And, but yeah, I would say, I think they do a good job of keeping the education going. Our company in particular wasn't necessarily looking for your cannabis knowledge. It was more just about, your experience and working with customers and things like that. They were going to train you what they wanted you to know, but they were just hiring people over. And so yeah, we had about a training of diving into cannabis and learning about the terpenes and how to grow and all the different aspects of the plant. And then
there we go.
Spent time learning, obviously, just the POS system stuff. But yeah, it did give us a really good starting point for sure, and the ongoing education has definitely been helpful. I'm looking at a packet right now that I need to read, but it's fun to be in a position and learning about stuff that I actually care about. You worked at I worked at a technology company that sold headsets and phones, and it was like, I didn't give 2 shits about that. So now it's cool to learn about something I actually care about.
Because you get to these recommendations that we get to give as bud tenders, and I'm currently a sales rep for a brand in California, so I get to do those trainings and whatnot. I get to have real impact on what is said. You guys get to have real impact on people's decisions and what they put in their bodies, how they sleep, how they treat other people, potentially based on how they feel. Right? If someone's in pain and they have a bad day, they're probably twice as likely to kind of be a dick. Right. So
yeah.
I don't know if there's science to that, but that's what I like to think, man. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're hurting and you're in a bad mood and other bad stuff is happening to you, man, it takes a lot to be positive after that and to be nice to a lot of other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. somebody who's able to do that without being high.
Shit, dude, respect. But at the same time, I'm nervous about you. You feel me? So, so my next question for you is, from a customer perspective, I was literally just with someone last night and they were talking about how they were asking questions to a budtender and it was just clear that they were pushing a product they were told to push. And this gave me the idea for this next question. Okay. So does your store incentivize sales and hard work in any way in terms of what is being pushed, or maybe any kinds of rewards, or even like budtender incentive programs from other brands?
No, there have been contests from brands, that have said if the number one salesman of these cartridges will get something. But honestly, I think most of us forgot about that. We really are just there to help the patients.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't feel pressure to push a certain product or to, do a dollar amount. I don't know that any of us would feel comfortable with that. I mean, like everybody that's there is there to help people. So
shout out to Kansas City Cannabis for creating the right kinds of culture. That question is kind of double layered because yes, we're interested because at the same for the reason of like, do people push products? Customers really want to know if people are like really just pushing products because it's a business. And like, yeah, this is capitalism in America, right? People are buying stuff for price points. But a lot of times dispensaries create a culture based on like what you're talking about right now, which is
yeah.
no, we wouldn't be okay doing that if that was really forced upon us. So I'm interested in hearing if you guys aren't really incentivized to push any one thing. Okay. We talked a little bit about flower and some of the strains earlier. Could you talk to me and elaborate on some of those other items, maybe some of the health and wellness items or the concentrates or the edibles? What kinds of products move well in those areas and or are the favorites?
Yeah, the main edibles are gummies and chocolates. And I mean, the gummies are probably the most popular edibles, and they all sell kind of equally. We have some, that are $20 up to like $50, and everybody kind of has their favorite. I would say gummies are definitely, gummies outsell the chocolates a lot.
Big Junts on YouTube asks, what's a Kansas City weed company that stands out?
Flora would be that they are a cultivator.
Yep, and you said Proper, and then what about this edible company?
Proper is they're in St. Louis, but shout out to them for sure. Yeah, Proper, and Wana would be.
Oh yeah, Wana's out there now.
Yeah, Smoke, and then Robots. I think Robots has just been in Colorado and Missouri, but yeah, Wana and Smokies would be the highest selling.
Shout out Wana and Smokies, man. Wana, the number one selling edible brand in the United States, in America. Big shout out to Wana for achieving that. And then also to Smokies, my favorite weed company that doesn't actually have a license anywhere. They are a licensing deal brand, meaning they just have the brand existing in places and the right partners. And that is super dope because that means if they can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, nice. I didn't know that. Yeah, okay, cool. Right on.
Yeah, they're in a lot of states, and they originated up in the Pacific Northwest as well. Them and Wilds and Select. I think Wana's a Colorado group.
Yeah, I remember those were the gummies I bought in Colorado. So I've always been partial. They also had lozenges that I really liked. We have some of those, but the Wana ones were Wana gummies. Always been my favorites. It's my first. But yeah, Proper makes. They have edibles called honeybees, and they make gummy chocolates as well, and they're really good. They use like a fruit puree in their gummies. Makes it's like just a different texture, a lot of flavor. So yeah, Proper is definitely somebody I'd keep an eye on. I feel like they're gonna do real well. They already are doing real well, but yeah.
Fire. Fire, fire, fire. And I appreciate you sharing those insights. And it's very cool because I know you've tried all these products, and it's important that we bring on better bud tenders from the stores that we're reaching out to. So that way you guys get, the people that are watching, you guys can get trusted recommendations when no matter what state you go in. No longer we don't want people to have to Google and just go based on 1,000 different reviews out there. We have a really, really high quality bud tender here. He's been working at a store doing his thing. Like, you guys, these are great recommendations. Take him. Robots, Proper, Flora, Juana's out there. Smokies is out there. There's a lot of great brands already out there on the shelves. Make sure you guys visit. Go in there. Kansas City Cannabis, 4 locations across the metropolitan area in Missouri. The next question I have for you is a kind of a standard question. We're always interested in hearing what the best weed is that you've ever smoked.
Oh man. Oh shit. I wish I had a better.
It's a tough one. I know it's a tough one. Is there anything immediately that comes to mind? Is it a strain? Maybe it's a brand recently that's in the market. If you just want to narrow it down to a certain segment.
My buddy grew some AK-48. And I remember that being like, I feel like, man, I might just be thinking of the whole night itself,
But that's
but
the thing, though, right? Doesn't weed can create that kind of experience where it forever imprints on you for being that best of the best. And so if AK-48's the one that comes to mind, I love it. I go, hey, you tell your homie to grow that shit and send some out this way of the West.
He's not growing anymore, unfortunately, but it was one of those, like, he showed me, I didn't even know he was growing. And he's like, yeah, I've been doing this for a while. Let me know what you think. And like, that was the only one strain he'd been growing. And, I think he perfected it, and it was awesome. And, but Gorilla Glue is another one of my favorites. Like, we talked about earlier, that one got me through some hard times. There was that was all I was smoking during just some dark days in my life. So that's one that I always got to give a shout out to. But
yep, I feel you on the glues. I've definitely smoked a lot of glue in my day.
Yeah, no, there can't go wrong with those. But most recently, I smoked one grapefruit Durban that was Durban pie, and I guess just great. Well, shit, I already forgot. Durban pie and grapefruit something. Now I'm higher than I thought it was. The gummies kicking in. Anyway,
no, that sounds fire though. I mean, grapefruit and Durban pie sounds again fruity, gassy. That classic landrace from Durban Poison is a great, energetic, clear-headed, but potentially anxiety-driving kind of high, depending on how your personality is.
I meant Durban Poison. Yes, sorry, Durban
Poison. Durban Poison. I mean, Durban pie sounds phenomenal too.
Durban pie is a strain that we had from Flora it was Durban Poison and something else. But yeah, I didn't.
I hope it's cherry pie. That shit would be fire.
That was it. Yes. Yeah. That was it. Jeez, you're at my job than I am.
Nah, man. It's just I've sold so many strains. I was a budtender for a full year, at a dispensary, in a market that sold Durban Poison, cherry pies, in the era of Durban Poisons and cherry pies in the market, in the stuff. Like, I was selling a lot of the stuff before exotics really existed, and now as a marketer and in sales and all this other stuff, now I've been blessed to smoke mainly exotics, and I'm in SoCal, so a lot of OG Kush out here. But yeah, I've just been blessed to touch a lot of weed and smoke a lot of it, thankfully. And we got to, the way that you talk about weed is very interesting as well. We got to get you reviewing some stuff soon as well.
Yeah,
I'm interested in hearing more.
That's what's fun too, is just learning, like, what am I smelling here, and all that. There's just so much that goes into it. Like, I'm still just kind of like, oh, smells like weed, or not anymore. I am starting to to pick up on some of the different scents and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting to start learning, like, what works for you at night, during the day. Like, I don't know. I don't think we're really getting into exotic stuff, out here yet. So I'll
Not
be.
just the genetic stuff will catch up out there as well, as will a number of other trends that have just exploded here on the West Coast. I'm looking at live resin gummies over here. Rosin is exploding in every category. I haven't heard you mention anything about syrups and stuff, and so I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff that's soon to hit the market. And this kind of leads me. I want to bring another question in from the group here. Whoever, shout out to Serial for dropping the question in. You guys do have edibles on the market. I'm sure they're all made of distillate, considering that Wana was mentioned, as well as Smokies. Those are delicious distillate-centric edibles. But do customers out there, is there a market for the edibles that are infused with sativa, hybrid, or indica? Are they using cannabis-derived terpenes in the edibles yet? Or are they labeling it as such? Do you feel like it matters? Is it lies? What do you think?
Wana is doing that. They've got sativa, hybrid, and indica. And I haven't really tried enough of. I always just felt like they were gummies. But yeah, we are seeing some. I think it's just Wana right now that's doing it. But yeah, they are just adding. I don't even know if they're cannabis derived terpenes, to be honest. I think they're just botanical terpenes. Actually, yeah,
to mimic a sativa, right?
Yeah. They've got a sativa, and I haven't had that one, but there are people. I mean, the people will buy them. But there are definitely CBD and THC ratio gummies too from them, and those sell just as much. But yeah, that's the kind of another one of those like THC percentage things that, to me, all the gummies that are labeled sativa or indica haven't really been, it might as well be a distillate, in my opinion.
Just a straight up middle of the road, might as well.
Yeah, it all hit me the same. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's definitely always been a topic of debate in the edible space. Myself as a customer, does it actually give you the sativa energizing effect? Here in California, I've only experienced three gummies that really hit me with sativa impacts. I believe I ate hybrid gummies from Wana, to be honest, and the distillate gummies from Smokies are just hybrids. They're just 10 milligram gummies. All of them worked for what they were supposed to do, a little bit energizing, and then you kind of get stoned. That's a hybrid, right? So like classic. So for me, I mean, I felt like that has always worked. I do prefer rosin gummies in terms of like, activated strain specific effects. I also like activated live resin for strain specific effects. But again, I know that's not everywhere just yet. Washington doesn't have.
We did get rosin gummies in last week.
Dope. Hell yeah.
They were 10 milligrams. I didn't really get high off of them, to be honest. I ended up having 30 milligrams, and it didn't really do much, if anything. I got high that night. Wrong, but I think that's called Soulfly, and that they had just two different flavors. But yeah, they were rosin gummies.
Did it taste good as a candy or as an edible?
Not really.
Yep. See, that's the thing. All right, cannabis brands, we're going to hold you accountable. Food has to taste good. If you remotely doubt it, you should not put it in the market. I'm just sitting here telling you now. Come on, man.
There's some like, I don't know, like cartridges are one of them that like I'll get a live resin. I don't care. Like there's some people that are like, oh, it tastes like weed, or I like the flavors, whatever. I don't really like. I mean, to me, vaping is I just want to get high. Like I don't care if it tastes good. But yeah, the edibles, I definitely want them to taste good. I mean, a gummy's not a huge deal, but yeah, you still want it to taste good.
It's got to taste good. Everything, because the reality for that is that if it doesn't taste good, then I'm less likely to buy it the second time. and then I'm back to being too price driven. We want to be encouraging the customers to be considering increasing their spends, but associating that with just higher quality if they're going to increase their spends, like better medicine, better quality of experience. That could be taste, it could be high, it could be packaging, branding, right? It could be all the different things. All right, so we're going to switch over just a little bit here towards a kind of like an industry perspective. Is there anything that you've seen in the industry out there in Missouri that you'd like to change so far?
I don't know. I don't know that I'm in it, like in deep enough to know, the inner workings of it. I'm definitely ready to see it go recreational because it's only medical right now.
Okay, so going rec for sure.
Yeah, and I'm just like, again, I might be a little bit out of my league here, but it with the licensing and stuff, it seemed like there was some weirdness going on with that, on who got approved and who didn't. So,
Which you're not out of your depth there, because what you're experiencing there is what you've heard in every state. It's pretty much people lobbying and buying their way and stealing and paying for shit that they're not supposed to in every freaking state. It's a joke how it all rolled out everywhere, but it's getting legalized. So as you mentioned earlier, all it can go is up, right?
Right. That's definitely that's kind of the mindset, is hopefully these are just growing pains or whatever. But yeah, I just want more people to have access to it.
Love it.
And that's
increase patient access everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what I want to. And I'm on the Kansas side, and Kansas is totally illegal, not even medical right now, which is so stupid. But that's all I want to see, is I just want to see it legalized. And that's what's exciting about being where I'm at. I'm right now, I'm like a newbie budtender in a brand new industry. As a company, we opened our doors on 420 last year, so we're now year in. So that's the fun part. Not only within the company, but the industry. Who knows, what opportunities will be out there. But hopefully right now it's just being part of the story. I remember we were fighting for all this, and now it's legal and everybody's got access to it. Hopefully it's just part of the story if I was there or whatever. But yeah, I definitely just want to see it be accessible.
We got, even for me, man, like increased patient access. I can't go to certain places and know that I have access to the same quality of medicine that I'm normally accustomed to, whether I'm in LA or whether I'm in San Francisco or Seattle or Portland or wherever it is that I'm in. That's a major city for me. As soon as you get outside into the smaller areas, and this is obviously even more so as soon as you get across the country, you start going into these other states where it's not legal, not so cannabis friendly yet. I start worried about my kidney stones coming back. Once the stress goes up, then the body starts to turn on you. And that's where it's like we make people feel safer in their homes. We make people feel safer where they're driving and stuff like that. Like, man, the bad eggs will get caught. The bad eggs will work themselves. And then there will always also be more bad eggs. There will always be bad eggs. So we can't let those bad eggs ruin the fun for the rest of us, and the peace of mind that we need as a country to just legalize it all over the place. Now, my next question for you, brother, is what is the funniest interaction with a customer you've ever had? Do you have anything, like, did someone spill something all over the place like my friend and that he did it recently at a dispensary? Have you ever seen anything hilarious? Anybody just say the most outlandish shit ever?
Yeah, I'm trying to one that stands out. There's a company called Timeless that makes cartridges.
Shout out Timeless.
What's up, Timeless? They have one called Lemon Faderade. It's their sativa, their daytime cartridge, and it's spelled Faderade. Faderade. And this guy goes, what can you tell me about that lemon faderade? And I was just like, what the fuck? Oh, sorry. I don't know if I can cut, but
You're
I
good.
I was like, the which one? And then I was like, oh, Faderade. Like, I don't know if he was just messing with me or what, but it was just that always cracks me up because it was just like Faderade. It just reminds me of Joe Dirt, like Joe Dirt. Don't church it up. That's
Oh, that's so funny. Now you just never know what people are going to hit you with in terms of these strain names, man. You just really don't. Number one, there's all kinds of different weird ass weed strains, and I mean even the terpenes and the those words, those are not easy to say, and everybody says them different. It's so
oh
funny.
man, yeah.
I ever heard someone say limonene, limonene? Hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like I probably pronounced both. Yeah.
And I say caryophyllene, caryophyllene. I say them both. It just comes out. Whatever comes out of my mouth, it comes out
You
at this
say
point.
cannabinoids or cannabinoids?
I don't even know because I say them both interchangeably.
I had to think about it. I was like, did I
I
say
don't
it
even.
twice?
Well, you said both. No, I have no idea. Cannabinoids. Um, I'm gonna pay attention to it going forward. But that's funny. That's a good one.
I feel like
Um,
say it however I heard it last from somebody else.
that's fair. That's fair. Kind of
But
just like chameleon it.
yeah.
Fodderade. That's a good one.
But now I gotta ask you, what was your what did you see in your budtending days?
Okay, the high THC thing has not gone away. It's and it's not that it's worse, it's just that there's more people buying weed than there was before. And that's just how that works. Back then it was a lot of botanical derived terpenes and distillate. You know, obviously the low 90s was mainly what was happening, 80s, 70s and stuff like that. You know, anything you could put into distillate, they were running it. We didn't really talk too much on this episode. We'll have another one with you later on this year to recap maybe your 1 year anniversary budtending. That'd be fun. But the labs and the testing, that was a big thing back. That's still an issue, is the consistency on the testing, like a standardization process for that, so that way we could trust the numbers to be accurate. Price points. I helped create a $15 eighth in Washington, and that was like one of the first groups that did it, and which is a race to the bottom, which is not good for markets. And I'm proud of that, but I'm also like not proud of it because it was a part of the destruction of a lot of stuff out there. And so $15 eighths are king, 20, 25, 30, 35. Any of those price points just really kill it.
Man, that's crazy to me. We're at our cheapest eighth is 35 right now.
Yeah, so at that point, when you just start getting an influx of cannabis, when more and more growers just start, and then there's just so much weed, eventually you'll have exactly. So remember what I said, in 3 years from now, when you guys have a shit ton of licenses open and weed, the price is dropping, crashing the way it is in California and Oregon. Washington already did it too. 2 to 3 years in, you guys are going to have too many licenses and stuff, or 4 to 5 years in, too many licenses. However it works for your guys' the quickness of how that works in your state. Some states it's just like a shit ton. Some states it's not so fast, like Illinois. But eventually you'll have a big ass glutton of weed that's just not moving, and at that point they're gonna just start undercutting it all, and you'll start to see indoor eights going for 25, like what's happening out here in Cali. Indoor eights for 25, bro. Crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah.
Fire for 25 and 8. Fire. Jungle Boys genetics for 25 and 8. Crazy shit.
What about a crazy story? What's something crazy that happened to you while you were budtending?
The craziest stuff that happened to me when I was budtending always had to do around homeless people, because I was in downtown Seattle in an industrial district. And they're not funny. They're just crazy, or they're sad. And then some of the shit is funny in the moment, but then you realize that it's also equally sad.
Right.
And so there's the classic heroin addicts that's just literally standing in the middle of your parking spot, like the zombie, right? That was some of the craziest stuff to really see like on a consistent basis and to not have the city really doing anything about it, which is pretty wild. And
Yeah.
then one day, one of the original owners or founders of the original partners of the company, the dispensary, he had like a mental breakdown or something a few years into the project, and then wasn't a part of the project when like the dispensary launched, I think, or something like that. But he showed up in a Darth Vader outfit out front of the store, like protesting the cartel. This is on some weird Seattle hippie shit,
Well,
I guess.
yeah, my story sucks now compared to that. Mine wasn't even that good to begin with. You got
But
me.
yeah, my first thought was like, again, just like, because where we were, we always had crazy homeless people doing shit, like always. And like the zombie one for me was like the first thing that was like, damn, that shit's crazy. And like the person, when like we like touched them, like, hey, are you good? They just snapped back to normal. Like, like,
That's
you know what I mean? Fucking nuts. And but then yeah, the that guy showing up that day, that's probably the funniest one I can remember, is like, yeah, this millionaire former executive dude or whatever is just wearing a full-on Darth Vader outfit in front of the store protesting the cartel. Some crazy shit. This next question we got, these two are kind of lame in my opinion, but I'm gonna run with one of them. In terms of the consumer education, right? You're new in the space. The customers that live in Missouri and probably the surrounding states are new to cannabis being legal to any degree. So how do you feel about, what are your thoughts about where consumer education is in the space? I'd like to hear about that first. And then the second part would be, what is Kansas City Cannabis kind of doing currently to help consumers be educated?
Yeah, so that's something that I know that is not really out there right now, but I know that it's kind of each dispensary is working on, not each company, I guess, is working on their own way to get people in the dispensary for education. There's not really anything right now, I guess, is the short answer, but I know that we are on just having, the COVID has been messing with us, so we can't, we haven't really been able to like organize events as we had talked about. But I know that they do want to do like information on how to get your card and just like cannabis education in general.
Yep.
Have just the doctor there to talk, about the process and talk
Yep.
about
Yep.
cannabis and stuff like that. So right now, I don't know of a lot that's. I've seen a few other companies, a few other dispensaries do some in-house stuff, and I know that we are planning on it. But right now,
COVID's been tough.
What's that?
COVID's been tough. It's
Yeah.
it's been a tough situation for anything to do with like getting people together.
That's what, because I do remember them talking about renting this, having an event space for a day. And then, COVID put the hold on that. I had it at the beginning of the year. So, but yeah, right now, that's still an untapped market, I guess, or an untapped thing to do. But yeah, hopefully, and that's something that is definitely brought up a lot, just from patients and from employees, because people want to know. Like, we have a lot of people interested in growing, so I think that'll be one of them too.
Yep.
So yeah, right now, unfortunately, not a whole lot going on, but I know that that's one of the things I'll talk
It's just getting started, and that's why we're asking. It's also from an outsider's perspective, for the people that are not in Missouri like us. We are interested in knowing what's going on, and so these questions were meant to help other people see what's going on and get an idea, a little bit of a bird's eye view to what's going on, but also to hear your perspective is really huge, and so I appreciate you for that. And now This is where we get to the good. We're in the last few minutes of the interview tonight. We're going to switch over to the trivia section. So I got 3 questions for you.
All right.
Hope you are you ready? Limber, we gotta limber up. These are big questions. Oh, all right, here we go. Oh, yep. He's like, fuck stretching. I'm gonna get my push-ups in real quick. No.
The Gorilla Glue will help me. All
The
right,
Gorilla Glue got you through your tough times, and now they shall get you through these. Are you ready?
let's do it.
All right, question number 1. Name 2 of the dominant terpenes in OG Kush.
An OG Kush. I feel like beta caryophyllane's got to be in there.
1.
All right.
Ding, 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 ding.
And pinene. No.
It is in there, but it's not one of the 3 most dominant.
I don't think myrcene's in there, right?
Oh, ding, 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 ding. That's the one that you're confusing with pinene.
All right. There we go.
That's what I said too earlier. Trust me, when I answered that, the same exact thing you said right now.
So
All right, y'all.
now, oh man, so much pressure. What am I? You tell me.
This is the tricky one. OG Kush. Well, you got 2 of them. You got caryophyllene and myrcene, so you did get it. But the last one that we have here, the 3rd dominant one, is limonene.
Dude, I seriously almost said that, and then I was like, what if I pronounced it wrong? Because we were talking about it.
You got it right, though. You got 2 out of the 3, but it is limonene, and pinene would be the 4th most dominant. So either way, you definitely know your Kush. I love it. All right, this next one, we felt this was a harder question. All right. These are each predominantly getting better. These harder in difficulty. It's our first time doing these trivia questions, so they may or may not be too difficult or too easy. So we'll just go from here.
All right.
Question number 2. What are the parent strains for Girl Scout cookies, aka GSC? Do you know the parent strains for Girl Scout?
Now I feel like an idiot because
this one, when if you don't get it, you're gonna be frustrated because
I'm already mad at limonene.
You shouldn't be. You got that question right. You still got you named the other 2 first.
Girl Scout cookies, man. Like I was just looking it up because we have a couple of, or at least one strain mixed with Girl Scout cookies, and I was like, I want to try. Are we ever gonna get that? But
yeah, you're gonna be pissed.
I feel like I got to give up, man. I don't know.
All right, he's got the pass. All right, I'll give you one. This is like remember the How to Be a Millionaire show back in the day, whatever was with Regis. All right, I'll give you the phone a friend option to the YouTube to anybody streaming with us right now. Does anybody in the audience know what the parent strain, without looking? Be honest, without looking. What are the parent strains for Girl Scout cookies? He's already given up. Does anybody know?
That's a level that I aspire to be to. Don't worry, but yeah, not there yet. All right.
We're gonna call it on the time. No one's typed anything yet. The parent strains for Girl Scout cookies are OG Kush and Durban Poison.
God, I'm an idiot.
I knew you were going to be upset. But that is why everybody loves Girl Scout cookies. It is the perfect blend of a heavy, heavy, heavy piney, limonene, myrcene, and spicy caryophyllene, however you say that word. And it's just OG Kush and Durban Poison with the sour, just land racy goodness.
That's right. That's awesome.
OG Kush and Durban, my man. OG Kush and Durban. All right, now this last one is going to test a little bit of your health and wellness, right? We're all about helping people, making sure that cannabis knowledge can be spread in a big way. Now, we did the OG Kush, we did the Girl Scout, we talked about Durban. That's 3 solid strains people should definitely look up and consider. These are great strains to be purchasing, to be smoking, to be dabbing, whatever it is. Question number 3, aka Thrizzle. Name one well-known strain. Well-known. This is like everybody knows about these, except for maybe one of these is tough. But if you get it, I'll be impressed. One well-known strain that's high in CBD.
Citronella Cookies. We just
Okay,
got that.
that's not on our list, but I like that. Sounds fire.
That's one from Proper and I only know that because we just got it in, and it's a 2-to-1. Like
Okay.
50% CBD, 7% THC.
Oh, I like that.
Other than that, man, that's a
The
good.
one. That's the one in Missouri. Someone's gonna be like, "Oh, what's your high CBD flower?" You're gonna be like, "I got Citronella
That,
Cookies."
we don't have any CBD flower over 1% right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of the CBD space, I like that. You have an answer. It's perfectly appropriate for that. I'm going to give it to you as correct because these strains are not grown everywhere, but this was from a generalized curated offering, right? So the 4 strains that we have written down here are Charlotte's Web,
Oh, yeah.
Critical Mass, Harlessu, which is Harlequin and Sour Tsunami together, and then ACDC. And then you coming in with the Citronella Cookies from Proper. Now today, everybody super excited. We've discovered another high CBD strain. So you guys can go to Missouri. You can trust that you can get a 15% CBD, 7% THC strain. They named it Citronella Cookies, which means they must have bred it from some kind of orangey, limey, citrusy weed
I think it
with a
was
little bit of cookies.
Citradelic Sunset and I'd have to double check. That peach smokies gummy hit me, so
No, but even still, that sounds delicious, man. Like that, like I've smoked a lot of good CBD weed in Washington. I've smoked every single strain that was on our 4 list right there.
see,
And
you guys are naming stuff I've never even heard of. Like
yeah, I mean in Colorado, that's where Charlotte's Web was created. Harlessu is the Harlequin and Sour Tsunami. Those are known to be kind of fruity. I call them lightly piney CBD strains. And then Critical Mass is your classic like earthy CBD weed to me. I'm not a fan of that one, but it's used a lot in various types of CBD oils and concentrates. It just yields well for that. And then ACDC is another one that one is particularly known for cancer curing properties, just from what I'm told. But that Colorado West for those, you know what I mean? And so it'll be.
How does it hit you?
In oil form, to me, the Harlessu, the ACDC, the Sour Sue, and the Harlequin, all of those individually I've had by themselves. I've had Harlessu mixed, like where they're like crossed together. So I've had 4 variations of these strains right here. They taste to me like a flat Sprite, like a flat cherry Sprite.
That doesn't sound bad.
No, it does, it's not. It's really refreshing. And it does get you lightly high. I call it champagne high.
Okay.
And for me, remember everybody has different body pain. Everybody has different psychology going on, mental health going on, right? There's all these different stressors in the world. And so you just never know when you're going to need a lighter dose compared to an OG Kush or a freaking do-si-do. You know what I mean? Some of the heaviest stuff. And for better or for worse, I'm not like I take 10 milligrams or 20 milligrams and I go to sleep for hours. Like you said, 30 milligrams would have me out in 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I'd be out, even maybe sooner if I haven't eaten anything. And I wouldn't be awake until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'd be knocked. And it's just always interesting how CBD strains combined with the right THC ratios, how they can really be impactful. Like the person who asked earlier about the cannabis-derived terpenes and the edibles and indica sativa hybrid, all that stuff really matters to me. I can't wait until there's more options on the market, more flavors, more different types of ways, different kinds of effects and highs. And I know that Kansas City and Missouri and as a whole and the states around that, they're going to be excited to see all the different kinds of products that come out. As I mentioned earlier, I've got 2 types of syrups right here. Look at these. This is a solventless syrup.
Damn.
Solventless, and this is a distillate-based syrup.
Oh, wow.
It looks like your promethazine bottles.
I can't wait. Like in those strains you're talking about and all that. Yeah, bring it on. That's going to be, we're nowhere near. Nice.
Cherry on top. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, I'll show you one more here. Some gummies, some little live resin gummies here.
Nice.
Yeah, a little yellow pack. But yeah, there's some crazy stuff in the market. I know I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. Tim, I really appreciate you being on the episode today. This was episode 1 of the Better Budtender podcast. Tim Grimes here represents Kansas City Cannabis. Tim, before we get you on out of here, do you have anything, any updates in your life, any news for the people, any shout outs? You know, anything? Are you Batman? Are you Superman? Do you have any superhero announcements you need to make? The floor is yours before we get on out of here.
No, definitely appreciate you having me on, man. I will be excited to see 1 year from now if I actually know what I'm talking about by then. No, man, I think I like chatting with you, and I hope that everybody out there knows that cannabis is medicine, and yeah, it's not just about getting high. So that's where I'm at right now. I just want everybody to feel good, and I think cannabis will help. So
cannabis can help. It is truly a medicine. There is a product for everybody. There potentially is a dose. And if you don't want to get high, you should try some topicals in your life, because I know your back's hurting. I know you're going to get old and get all, crickety and all that stuff. Come on, man. So there's definitely something. And if you're not okay with it, get it for someone else as a gift, because it could definitely help their life. Everybody, thank you again. Better Budtender podcast, episode 1, featuring Tim Grimes. Big shout out to Devin Mullins and the entire Kansas City Cannabis team. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, man, I really appreciate you being on the episode today. I look forward to having you on again. And bam, let's get it. Everybody, like, follow, subscribe. The Better Budtender podcast is available on Twitch. We stream on YouTube, we stream on Facebook, and we stream on Twitter. There's a couple other places this will be available soon. Make sure you all tap in, get your game on, learn about how to become a better budtender, and test your knowledge in the trivia as well. So we'll see you on the next episode. I love you guys. Tim, I'll see you soon, brother.
All right. Thanks, man.